What's up, guys? Brandon and Jeremy here from a friend of RC, and we're giving you our review of the brand new in fall 2011 Blade Scout. Now, this is definitely their answer to losing the market share to the mall kiosk type helis at a price point at just under $50. But once you get into it, you'll see there's no comparison to the untrained eye or like hobbyist. Sure, they look the same, right? But the part support and just everything about it, it's just far superior.
Yeah, it screams a hobby level when you really get into it. When you start looking at it, I'm going to move this out of the way so you get a little better view. This thing weighs in at about 17 grams, and the only reason I mention that is because most of the mall kiosk helicopters out there weigh a lot more, but have the same amount of power. You might say, oh, well, it doesn't have any metal on it. You know, people like to see the metal on the helicopters. That's really just flash. It's for looks. What they did here was kill all the weight, keep the power, so you have a helicopter that's got tons of punch. It'll climb really fast and a lot of control.
Now, this is one of the key features I noticed was the charging in the controller, which some people like, some people don't like. But that's about as far as I can go with technical, other than saying that the sticks have been reversed. And I want to let you get into that. So, as usual, jump into the technical, and
Absolutely.
Brandon will save me here.
Well, you hinted on it, reversing the sticks. For those of you already flying helicopters, if we look at what the sticks do to helicopter, we have throttle here. Usually, moving this stick right and left would be spinning the helicopter or yaw control. Well, they've swapped that over now to this stick because we've eliminated one channel. So what did we lose? Well, it's a 3-channel helicopter, and it just can't go side to side like this. It still has the ability to tip forward and backward via swashblade control, which is important. Not a fan on the back trying to push it, but actually tipping the helicopter. It's got up and down control and tailspin, but they shifted it. So for me, it was a little weird, first flight, because I've flown helicopters the other way so long, but then it becomes kind of natural because you realize you're just kind of steering the nose with this stick and then going forward at the same time. So it's easier for beginners, I found.
Yeah, I definitely think, given first of all, I don't know if I love that they swapped the control, because as somebody who is even just learning, to have to change it in your mind, you almost have like that muscle memory built up, and it's hard to like reprogram. And then if you go back to like an MCX, too, now you gotta try to flip it back over. See, I'm not a huge fan of that, but if you've never flown a heli before, and like, first of all, this is like prime awesome aunt and uncle gift stuff here. The kids won't notice a difference out of the box, but their parents will thank you when you can go to the local hobby shop and get replacement parts. They even include a coupon code for some free parts right in the box. I mean, you can't beat that. It's like they're rubbing it in the mall kiosk faces by saying like, hey, you get the heli, but and check it out. Here's also where you get the replacement parts in case you need any.
Yeah, not only they're available, we're giving them away to start.
Yeah, that's real nice. And like the fact that it has almost little to no weight, I think the biggest risk of damaging it is going to come from like somebody stepping on it or something. Really. It's more likely to be accidental than like a crash.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. As
we say, it's hanger rash that causes most damages instead of actually flying. Yeah, they've taken this to the next level for durability. If you look at the MCX2, we just did a review on that not too long ago. They have flexible parts on there. Well, they kind of took that to an extreme on this helicopter, and these things are just insanely flexible. I mean, how would you break one of these? You hit the wall, it collapses. Same goes for the landing gear. It's extremely flexible. I mean, rubberized-ish, kind of feels rubbery, so you know it's made to do this over and over and over again. And with the light weight behind it, I mean, it weighs nothing. Yeah, breaking parts is going to be tough, but you can get them, and that's the important part.
And so we'll kind of group our next 3 categories together. So for like cost of operation and durability, we've already answered that. Yeah. It's a $50 price point. Yes, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than your mall helis, but it's a Blade. What do you want? I mean,
it's running the Spectrum 2.4. It's not infrared control. Some of those mall helicopters, if you fly them in bright lights, forget it. You'll lose control. Or even if you just want to fly to the other side of the room. I mean, if you don't have it pointing right at it like your TV remote, you're losing control. This thing on Spectrum can go as far as you can see it.
Yeah, it's got the computerized gyro. It's got, it's got all the stuff that most people who are brand new to the hobby wouldn't know about it. They don't. It's like if you don't need, you know it. If you don't know you need it, then you don't know, and that's why we make these videos.
Exactly.
Fun factor. Hey, for first heli, it's part of the reason I think that segment is really exploding right now. Like, it's just fun for anyone to pick up and kind of like tool around with it, or, you know, if you can push yourself, like you said, like trying to land on stuff, or, you know.
Yeah, you know, challenges with friends and things like that. It becomes a lot of fun, and be able to have one that's this controllable. I mean, it's so precise to be able to actually go and say, I'm going to fly over to that bookshelf and land on it. You just can't do that with the mall kiosk ones. They just don't have the dexterity and precision to handle that.
Well, and the other thing, like most people always ask when we do reviews, like, what is a runtime? And I know that's like a difficult, I'm sort of putting you on the spot, but it's like, it's the most difficult question to ask, is how much time are you spending sitting like this? How much time are you spending in the air? How much time, how like aggressive are you flying? But, you know, it's going to be on par with anything else. I think it's the way they have the battery placed now, it's actually very easy to put in and take out. Like I noticed that right away on the MCX2s. Like, it's just very easy to kind of pop it in, pop it out.
Yeah, they make sure you can't screw up the center of gravity putting it in the wrong way. And yeah, runtime it is a popular question, something that can be touched on. And I'd say for all helicopters, big and small, it kind of always works out to a little less than 10 minutes. More advanced acrobatic helicopters, even less. And these little guys, you know, you can go a little over 10 minutes if you're just messing around with it. But yeah, I mean, what's more important to you is how long is the helicopter going to last, not the runtime. Don't sell it on runtime.
Yeah, it runs on the little rechargeable LiPo batteries, and if you are comfortable buying things online, you can buy and one thing I suggest, like we noticed right away with our battle helis, you're going to want to get like 2 or 3 extra batteries, just so you can swap it out and keep going. You don't want to run like 10 in a row, because these things need to kind of chill out a little bit. You can't keep pumping batteries through them, but overall,
yeah, a couple batteries, definitely a good idea.
In terms of performance, it performs great. The only knock on it is going to be, like, if you asked me, does it outperform a mall heli? Well, hell yeah. But then the answer is always going to be, well, it's twice the price.
Right.
So to me, it's a tough. I see a lot of value in it, but it's sometimes tough to convince people who are ready to spend 30 that they need to spend 50. And until you really get into it and get somebody to understand it, it's tough.
It is tough, and for me, when I'm at work, it's even harder. When you're behind the counter, you're the person trying to sell it. You know, you kind of get that weird, well, you're trying to sell it to me, so how do I know you're telling the truth? But here, in a neutral standpoint, I can tell you honestly, this is going to be better than any mall helicopter I've ever seen. And if you're not sure, you can usually go to your local hobby store, and I know we have one of these on demo. We can fly it around for you. Sometimes we'll let customers fly it and make the comparison and see for yourself, you know, is it worth the $50? I can tell you it absolutely is.
Yeah, and the tricky ending question that we normally do is, would you go back and buy it again? Well, for me, I'd probably, like we talked about, like, I would probably jump right into an MCX2, because that's just the way I am. And, you know, I have a little bit more disposable income, so I would probably just jump right into that. But if I were to be buying, like, my first, like, micro heli, I don't see any reason that I wouldn't get it again.
Yeah,
it's tough to put myself in those shoes.
Right. And same here. Now, if I was someone that's just getting into helicopters and looking at it, and I just purchased it and it was my first one, I would be all about buying another one. But yeah, from my perspective, I'd probably go to the MCX2. It's tough. I mean, this is, to clarify, a 3-channel helicopter at a $50 price point, and to go to 4 channels, a full-blown helicopter, you can still get the MCX for about $80. So it's tough to say. You got to ask yourself, you know, how much do I want? Do I have the money to spend right now? But it's one of those beautiful products that, even though it's less money and it's got one less channel, you're still getting much more of value, or much more value, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It's going to last. If you decide that you're going to move on and get to something a little bit nicer, you haven't spent too much money figuring that out. You spend $50, you decide you like it, now you go get the MCX2 for $100. So that's the brand new Blade Scout. And if you have any questions about it, post them up down below, or shoot on over to our forum at rcnightmare.com. Thanks.
See you guys.